Hi, everybody. How is everyone doing? What's up, Trevor, Scuba, Sepulros, and me? How is everybody doing today? This It's a moderate Thursday, so I'm going to start by being moderately loud, moderately excited. I love you too, Scoobs. It is a moderate Thursday. Today I expect very little. I expect to chat about maybe some sports, some comic books, and basically that's it. Thanks, Scoobs. Um, Hello, Councilman Chef. As Trevor alluded to yesterday, CGC bought JSA and have announced starting next month they will be verifying signatures that are on books they did not witness. Good news for all of you and for us. You get that sweet, sweet CGC holder with the dope SIGs that we have provided you. Now, are they going to make it a separate label than the gold label? Maybe. It was announced, I think, about a week ago. Um, so I'm going to be very interested in seeing if they make it a different label. And then, as Trevor basically asked me, would you have different thoughts about it if it were a different label than the classic CGC gold label? So, I would like to pose that question once more than 6 people are in the chat, because I think this is going to be a healthy discussion for Moderate Thursday. Speak of the devil and he arises. There's Carlos. Hello, Carlos. So, oh, I know Scoobs, but CGC has always enjoyed changing their labels for different reasons. And we are wondering if they're going to keep the yellow label and instead of saying signed by, it'll be verified signed by. It'll be interesting to see if they're going to change it. Now, up until about 3 hours ago, I haven't seen if they address that. And it looks like if I sort by the past week, doesn't say if they're going to. Yeah. So it'll be interesting. I have no idea, Scoops. I didn't pay attention to that much. Can't imagine it was a lot. Or a JSA sticker on the label. I imagine it'll probably be a CGC holder with, I would imagine it would have a JSA, not a sticker. Um, I think what it's actually going to do is they'll just have similar to this. They will have just a separate JSA, like little thing on the back. Instead of maybe CGC in the corner, it's JSA certified. So I would bet that they would not actually sticker it. They will simply just add a printed variant on the back that says JSA, or even on the front that says JSA. Um, it'll save them a sticker just by printing it out. But yeah, I imagine JSA will now encroach on that label. I hope they keep it yellow too. I hope it doesn't change the overall aesthetic that we're used to. Um, but the yummy. Um, just ate that idea. But Trevor brought on a really good point that I had a knee jerk reaction for, and then I became conflicted. Would you treat a JSA CGC signature different than a regular CGC witnessed label? Now, my knee jerk reaction was to say no. No, JSA is a well respected company, has been around for a very long time, is well liked, and is pretty much right up there with PSA as far as PSA DNA, as far as interchangeably recognized. So, how important to you would it be to have it, excuse me, there I am, to have it witnessed as opposed to you getting it yourself? Or let's say you knew somebody that got it, like me, Trevor, Doug. I'm sorry, Doug, Trevor, Rye, and had it done. Does that little JSA printed label make a difference? Sorry, Scoobs. Couldn't reach that far back. Love you, Hellbolt. So, I want to talk this out because my knee jerk reaction was no. But then I thought about it. And it's splitting hairs. It is splitting hairs here. Do If all things were the same price, do you want one that a representative witnessed signed, or do you want one that has been authenticated based on evidence, which is what JSA does? That is going to evoke a reaction. Because if you get to the highest level of collecting, which this would probably bother more than the average collector, what is the premium percentage cost difference between a person standing there and watching the signature and a person researching and verifying the signature? I am simply bringing this up to invoke discussion because I would be interested to see what the different level of collectors' opinions are, from the casual collector to the hardcore collector. Trevor says, I have a ton of books that I would want to send now. I would have a ton of books that I would want to send now. Scoobs, yeah. A JSA cert is better than an HP witnessed. it is it is going to be interesting. We don't know how much they're charging. We don't know if it's going to be a different label. We don't know if the process will be different. I imagine it will take longer for a turnaround. I think maybe instead of a 2 week, it's a 3 week turnaround. There are a lot of really subtle nuances. Well, I guess nuance is subtle. There is a lot of nuance to this. We will know a lot more at WonderCon in a week when we go. For those who are in the greater LA area, we will be at WonderCon, not as purveyors of our goods, but instead as acquisitions of new talent and items. Scuba, I don't think they'd have to compete with CBCS pricing. I think they will still be more expensive than CBCS because now they're going to bank on the JSA name and they will turn that into, we spent all this money to acquire them, we need to recoup, so it will probably be an additional charge. Maybe it's $5 more. I have seen artists that will give you two signatures. Do you want my signature for $5 or do you want my CGC signature for $10? I am going to sign this book with just my normal signature for $5. But if you want my well-known stylistic signature, it's going to cost you an extra $5. That could be the difference. That is what could change here. It is going to be very interesting to find out. I would send books in. I have a plethora of them. Hey, what's going on, Don? We're just talking about the JSA acquisition by CGC and what your feelings would be between a CGC witness signature and a CGC JSA authenticated signature. At first blush, they're both real, and I want them. But how much of a price difference would make you think one over the other? If they're both the same price, let's start with this one, the control group. If they are both the same price, which one do you want? And you must choose one. Do you want the witness signature for $100, or do you want the JSA certified signature for $100? Please throw your opinion on the screen. There's no wrong answer here. This is really good discussion because it is something that we are likely going to venture into and either provide as a service or come out with our own graded books moving forward. Scuba's like, as Fry from Futurama would say, shut up and take my money. Yeah. I think if the prices were the exact same and I was buying them on, let's say, eBay, they were the exact same price, I would want the witness signature over the JSA signature. Because somebody had to physically see him write on that book by a CGC representative, whereas JSA is simply researching the item. I think I would want the visual confirmation of it actually happening. As somebody who's been through the process numerous times, I think I'd want that. Now, Chef says, for the same price, he'd rather have the JSA. There you go. JSA is a great name. It is a stalwart name. There is very little that can be said about JSA that is bad. Um, my question to myself that I will pose to you as well: at what point, at what dollar or percentage difference do you take whichever of the two you perceive as the best? For example, Councilman Chef likes JSA. I would like the visual confirmation. How much of a difference, percentage wise, in cost would you suddenly be flippant and like, I don't, eh, I'll take the other one? Is it a 10% difference? Is it as simple as a 1%? Hey, whichever one's cheaper, I'm good with? There is going to be bias in the market coming up. And I want you to think beyond. And again, I'm not speaking negative, I'm not speaking positive, I'm evoking conversation and thought. There, in my opinion, will be a couple of sides. It is going to be not as severe as the CBCS versus CGC, but there will be people, purists, digging in their heels and saying the only CGC SIG is a witness CGC SIG. And there will be others that say, especially from the sports community like myself and a lot of you, who have known JSA to be the big get when it comes to sports. Hey, I know JSA is fantastic. I am perfectly fine with this maybe slightly different label, maybe same label with just a JSA on it. Maybe they don't change anything. Maybe they just absorb it and call it a day. I am more interested in seeing the perception of the masses of collectors that are, and it's going to be on eBay. It's going to be, you will see the difference on eBay. It is going to be fascinating to see this. I think this is a very interesting time to be into comic books and signed books as heavily as we are. As you know, we get all of our books, if not firsthand ourselves, from those artists at the cons. We have artists that get them for us from other artists that are in their circle. Either way, the real only place we're getting them from are directly from artists or the other artists that work with those artists. Like, for instance, I can't approach Kevin Eastman, but I can run into Jonathan Bowlerjack and be like, "Hey, have you seen Eastman lately?" "Oh yeah, I'm going to do a thing with him in Japan next month." "Cool. Hey, could you get this stuff signed?" Yeah. Excellent. Cool. There. And absolutely, Hellbolt. Yes, I agree. I agree. They are. I have JSA stuff right in this cabinet. I like JSA. I think they're great. I do not knock either company. I love both companies. I am not trying to take a side. Um, I've given my opinion of when it comes down to it. Now, this is the beautiful thing, and this is the thing that we also need to think about. There's a lot of artists and signers that are no longer with us. The Stan Lee signatures that were not certified. Yes, they're a dime a dozen in the world if you know where to find them. If you got a connection, I worked for a company that sat him down at a table for a number I can't repeat and had him sign 3,000 items. 3,000 items. And it came down to about $2 a signature, with a variance being some of the bigger items were more, some of the smaller items were less. I'm going to say it averaged about that. Obviously, you can't buy one for that price, but there are companies, you know what I'm talking about. There are companies sitting on thousands of uncertified Stan Lees, probably tons of Neil Adams stuff that has was not made public. There are going to be just massive amounts George Perez items that were not certified. There is going to be a flood of signatures from passed away artists that are now going to be doing this. Um, More than likely, Councilman Chef, they haven't spoken about it. I imagine JSA is going to run as normal, and CGC is going to run as normal, and CGC being the parent company is just going to utilize the JSA office to authorize those books for them. I imagine the rest of it is business as usual. I don't imagine there being a major paradigm shift at JSA. I could be wrong, but this is just my gut. This is just from what I've seen in business. You are about to see, more than likely, in the next 6 months, more Stan Lee signatures on books, on cards, on index cards than you've ever seen in your life, verified, certified, and for sale. It is going to be incredibly interesting. All of those signatures that are sitting in a warehouse right now are going to get verified. So, I am quite interested in seeing how all of this unfolds. Yeah, JSA is, yeah. Um, there's like 2 JSAs above my head that you can't see. So, absolutely. JSA name is going to go away and they're going to be absorbed by CGC according to a press release from JSA. Oh, see, I have not seen that yet. I'll pull it up real quick so that we can all read it. All right. There we go. There it is. All right. Give me a second. I'm going to find the spots. All right. The acquisition of JSA is CGC's answer to the countless collectors and dealers who have asked to have their autographed collectibles authenticated and then graded and encapsulated. Although CGC pioneered witnessed authentication of autographs through the popular CGC Signature Series service, it has never offered full authentication and grading services for collectibles with unwitnessed autographs. JSA has particularly strong reputation in sports collectibles, a market that is important focus for CGC. With JSA, CGC will significantly upgrade their services for collectors of sports, autographs, and memorabilia through additional expertise increased and such. In April, collectors of autographed comic books, magazines, sports cards, trading cards, and non sports cards will benefit from a seamless submission experience where they can use a single online form to submit their collectibles for JSA autograph authentication and CGC grading and encapsulation. More services and enhancements will be announced in the months ahead. JSA and CGC will operate independently for another few weeks while the companies work behind the scenes to integrate. Instructions on how to submit your items will be posted soon. So that answers your question. You can still submit. So I'm reading. Give me a moment. I don't see where they're going to absorb it into CGC. It seems to be unspoken. They're going to be independent for a few weeks, and then they will be one form. It doesn't say that JSA's name is going to go away completely. So it is going to be very interesting. I think it is exciting. I think it is going to be phenomenal. All of those wonderful Adams signatures, all of those wonderful um, Lee signatures, all of those fantastic Perez signatures, all of those signatures that were done in the past are going to be available, and they're going to be authenticated where they weren't before. This is a pretty great time to be a collector. What's up, Dave? How you doing, buddy? It's been a while. You warmed up again? Oh, it warmed up again. Yeah. Um, it is that acquisition is it is it's going to be it is going to polarize some collectors. I think we are going to see if they change the label or if they add the JSA to the label. Unless it's uniformly done, it is going to have a price difference. I believe it's going to be a price difference. I believe Chef is going to make out like a bandit because I believe the stalwarts, the gatekeepers of graded comics are going to insist on the witnessed signature versus the verified signature. I see it. I see it as splitting. Councilman Chef, that's right up your alley, man. You are good as gold. I think you're going to make out like a bandit. I think in the long run, once this has been a couple of years in, you are going to see it be on par. You are going to see it level out. Heck, you may even see them not do the witnessed signatures at the con. Maybe you possibly will see just a CGC booth and you don't have to have somebody follow you. Maybe they're like, yes, this person's at the con. Yes, that's the thing. Great, here it is. It's thanks, Carlos. And think of that, Trevor. We haven't even thought of that idea. Maybe there's not going to be somebody following you ever again. Maybe when they set up camp at Comic-Con, okay, here's a list of people at Comic-Con. We know they're here. We can take those immediately, and then we can send your other books of people who are not here in for verification. That's a whole different ball of wax. Then the witness signature portion goes away, and it just becomes a verified signature. There are a lot of unanswered questions that we are going to have answered in a week. You can bet your bottom dollar DCD Collects will be at WonderCon. I believe WonderCon is going to be the first con after this announcement. Yeah, exactly, Dave. Yep. Yes. Yes. Exactly. So it is going to be a very interesting thing. It is. It is going to be, I believe this is the first major con since the announcement that we know they're definitely at. CGC is at WonderCon. They were there last year. JSA was there last year. Maybe we can ask both of them and see what the different sides say. I may pitch to Doug and Trevor, get a camera of me asking the questions. Let's do an impromptu interview. Hey, we represent a lot of collectors. We have these 3 questions. Can you answer them? Maybe we'll get a scoop. I tend to be really good at getting permission to talk to people because I'm really a nice guy in person. I might be a jerk here on camera, but in person, I'm pleasant. Plus, I don't wear deodorant or cologne when I'm on camera. I actually have to do that when I'm at a con because I've smelled a con before and I don't ever want to be that guy. Yeah. Oh yeah. And it's going to be interesting. It is. It is going to be interesting if there is a dynamic. In my opinion, and this is solely the opinion of DC the Breaker, not that of DCD Collects. If CGC was smart and thought about the consumer and collector, they would make it one label, no change. It is now just, or maybe you put the word verified in front of, signed by. What up, Dangle? It's just a stink. That's right. Thank God there's no smell-o-vision. With all the gas, the silent but deadly gas I let out. Listen, I'm not even going to pretend. Like, James all the time will look at me when I crack one off and be like, Dad. I'm like, oh, sorry, buddy. By the way, he's not here today. So it's going to be, I'm excited. I got some goodies, folks. Boy, I don't want to be the guy to just show off my goodies and then tell you that they're not for sale. You know what I'm talking about. But boy, oh boy, do I have some goodies that I could show you on camera right now, but I don't want to be that guy. Right? You like that Maitland in the background? I'm glad somebody noticed. It's beautiful. If this ever makes it into a product, if I don't buy it out from under all of you, I will be bountying that. So, listen, while I have my people in here, I would like to remind you of a couple of things. Now, I know Derek and Dave have a history. So I would like to remind them that we do have one there will be blood that will accommodate 4 players. And could be interesting. It will also put us at a near sellout for Zeo, which means I can do the giveaway. Give me a second to update. There we go. Come on. All right, you're making me do it the hard way, aren't you? Huh. The DCD Collect site doesn't want to work. Okay. Hmm. Anyway, here. We've got you covered. This is Zeo. These 2 books right here, number 3 and, oh, I'm sorry, wait. I think it's 8 and 9. It is. It's 8 and 9. Book 8 and book 9 are in the. These got shuffled out of order. It happened. I just sorted them wrong when I split them into groups. Oh, that's actually red. Book 9 and book 8 are in this break. If we sell out this break, we will only have number 3 left. It's all good, Dave. Oh no, that sucks, man. I'm sorry to hear about that. Everything good now? Or is it at least looking up? That will leave only book 3 remaining before we sell out everything. Then we'll be giving away the Vader and the Black Panther Hollywood. And I will tell you, out of these 3 that are left, 2 of them have hits in them. 2 of them have pops. So there is literally a 100% chance that one of the envelopes in There Will Be Blood is going to have a pop in it. There is about a 33% chance both of them do. Signed sealed is half sold out. Signed certified is half sold out. What up, KP? I was talking about you today. I used you as a reference of somebody who has a high attention to detail. Boy, I think I picked Oakland. I don't even know where to look. I don't even listen. I made it, and then I don't even know where it is. I'd have to find the link to where the brackets are. I don't even know. I don't know. Let me see. I don't see a link. Where did Doug put that link? It says, "Hey, we have an NCAA bracket," and then there's nothing there. I did not have Oakland. Where can you find that? I would like to know where I can even look at my bracket. Oh, I just so you know, I randomly picked teams. I have no idea. I don't even know the rules of basketball. I can tell you on my son's life, I don't even know the rules of basketball. I don't know the rules of basketball. Really? You're going to make me verify with a 6-digit code just so I can see how bad it is? Well, that's lame. Oh my god, you're such a pain in the butt. There we go. Hmm. Nice. Yeah, I have no clue anything about it. Interesting. I'll have to keep that. I'll have to keep that. Um Oakland is outside of Detroit. I thought Oakland was just outside of somewhere in California. Thanks, Carlos. Oakland University's not in Oakland? That's weird. Next, you're going to tell me Miami is in Ohio. Scuba, to answer your earlier question, now that my brain is working, that Ninja Turtles is for a future Ninja Turtles break. And boy, is it really nice. Yeah, I don't know. No. Oh, hey, yes, that is. I purposefully, Sepuros, I purposefully sent us to Batsky so that we could peek at what he was drawing Because even if they won't let me doctor spoil anything, I will find a way to spoil. I will find a way. Believe you me, I have, where there is a will, DC finds a way. That is, that should be my segment. That should be an ongoing segment. DC finds a way. Hey, I'm looking for this at a con. DC finds a way to make that happen. We leverage Doug's knowledge of people and my natural charisma and charm, and we make things happen. Six are tight. Yeah, it's we. So when I worked for Berkshire Hathaway, um, Uncle Warren used to do a Berkshire Hathaway only bracket. Um, if you got a perfect bracket, he gave you $1 billion. Um, if you, whoever in the company had the best percentage correct, they got like, I was like 10 grand, I think it was. So somebody from Berkshire Hathaway was going to get 10 grand, or maybe it was 100 grand. It was a decent number. It was either 10 or 100,000. Um, and one of the girls in our office got third place, which was like 3 grand. Um, and they asked her, "How did you manage to get such a good bracket?" And she said, "I Googled the school and I picked the best mascot." Not lying to you. She looked up all of the mascots and picked the cutest of the two that were facing each other. And then just went on Cute Factor. That is how she won 3 grand. Picked by mascots is what City did once? Yes. Yes. This person had had the Cindy philosophy. Now I haven't worked for that company in 10 years. Well, no. 8 years. No. James was 5 years. I haven't worked there in 5 years. Um, but yeah, I think he opened up his bracket to other people, but I don't think it's $1 billion anymore. Um, Best butt, yeah, oh yeah. That is how a lot of people have done fantasy baseball. I've heard of girls doing fantasy baseball based on best butt. It was just a team full of Jeters. Yeah, yep. It's it is ridiculous. There was somebody that had the first 2 rounds perfect. Um, and never sent it in. Could you imagine having the first 2 rounds perfect and just never handing it in? Yeah. Oh well. Ugh. The first round is the toughest, as we see today. But I digress. Let's switch to a topic most of us know about. Anybody catch any of the highlights of Caleb Williams' pro day? Anybody take a peek at his rocket arm? Oh, Scoob, you don't like football. It is interesting. I personally think he is going to be a bust. I have said this everywhere in the world. I am putting it on camera so I can be held accountable for it. Listen, I'm an honest guy. I will tell you that I have called busts in the past that were deadbeat busts. Yeah, he's already rich. He doesn't need the money. He is like was it Pete Maranovich? Pete Maranovich, the one that his parents bred him to be an NFL quarterback, and he flopped despite being one of the most athletic quarterbacks in history at the time. I believe Caleb Williams is not going to be elite. I believe Caleb Williams is a bust. I believe he cannot handle the mental rigors of the NFL. It's not just the nail polish. It's not the crying in the stands after losing. It's not the demanding part ownership of the team that drafts him. It is not the I am going to wait to declare to see who gets me. It is not any one of those things. It is not the pressure applied by his parents. It is not any of those things. It is a sum of all of those things that lead me to believe he is not mentally ready for the NFL. JJ Kevin is going to be the steal at quarterback, but I believe Drake May will have the most immediate success. I think Drake May is just a little more complete, but I think JJ's got the X factor that is going to send him in the long run over the top of anybody picked. No, he's ready. He is ready. I'm not saying he's not. I'm not pooping on JJ. Might be clear. I think Drake May will have the instant impact, and I think JJ is going to grow into being a superstar. No. JJ's got the mindset. JJ needs to work on his physicality because we've seen what happens to undersized quarterbacks time and time again. And it doesn't matter if they're mentally prepared or if they're not mentally prepared, like the kid in Arizona who runs like a toddler. But I think JJ is going to be in the gym a lot. He's going to be packing on some lean muscle. They are going to make him bigger. And when he gains that man weight, I think that's when he explodes into superstardom. Drake May is going to start out solid and remain solid. But JJ has the higher ceiling. I think Caleb is going to flash. I think he is going to have the people around him making plays. But I think when the first real tough Bears season happens, I think he is not mentally going to be there. Yeah, I see a lot of teams that are able to move up. We know the Vikings have loaded up firsts to make a go at one of those picks. In my opinion, and again, this is a hot take, the Bears need to move out of the first spot. Trade back again. Yes, you need a quarterback. You can trade back just a couple of spots, get a couple more ones, and still get a quarterback that is going to make your team a fantastic team. I'm not a GM. I don't even have a college education. But I see Caleb is not the guy. Get out of the position. Move into a position right before somebody else who needs a quarterback is up to pick and get one of the other three guys. I'm not sold on Penix. Bo Nix is a project. I don't mind Bo Nix. I think he would be great if he sits behind somebody for a couple years. Yeah. Um Bears need to trade back. Let me take a look. Here's my perfect world for the Bears. All right. Minnesota has 11 and 23. They could give up 11 and 23 and next year's first and a second and get the first pick from the Bears. The Bears can then take 11 and 23 and probably move up to 5. Or 6 and jump ahead of the Falcons. I mean, they already have 9. They could use probably 9 and 11 from the Vikings and move up to 4. That is, the Bears are in a position, they have a ton of capital due to previous trades. You can move back into the top 10, move back a little bit, pick up a few firsts, trade 1 or 2 to get back where you are, and call it a draft. You're going to get a guy not named Caleb who is going to be a fantastic quarterback, and then you're going to have an additional 2 firsts to build around him, and then possibly another 2 firsts next year to do the same. That to me makes sense. Again, I don't know how it works. I don't know the point. I used to have the point list. I believe it's enough points to move up. Oh yeah. That's why they need the extra firsts to go get themselves 2 really good pieces of an offensive line. Here's the tricky part about this draft. Dangle, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. He could demand a trade, in which case, yeah, the Bears should take him and force a trade with somebody else, because other teams are going to be interested and they're going to pay the going price for him. If you can't get a deal done before, but you know you can get one during the draft him, let him hold out like a little bee, and then get your king's ransom for him while still picking a quarterback in the draft. I mean, wouldn't it be hilarious if he was able to grab Caleb and another quarterback at 9 and then deal away Caleb for a king's ransom? The Bears are in the best position in this draft because of how smart they were in last year's draft. Granted, it didn't result in wins for them, but it's going to result in wins just like the way the Lions built. The Lions were very savvy with their picks, and they built through the draft and partially through free agency and definitely through trades. No, Bo would not be bad for the Bears. Not at all. I don't believe so. Again, I would prefer to see him behind somebody for a little bit. The Bears have some. Who do they have? Some stopgap What do the Bears have right now? They bought, oh, was it Darnold? Let Darnold get killed for a year. I mean, you're obviously not winning this year. Even if you draft Caleb, you're still not winning this year. You're not getting a championship. Let Darnold get beat up. God bless him. Have Nix learn what not to do and deal away Caleb. I'm not a Bears fan, so I have no dog in this fight. Wilson will be fine in the Steelers. Here's what I like about Wilson at the Steelers. I actually really like Justin Fields backing him up. I did not know Justin Fields modeled himself after Wilson, and Wilson was one of his biggest idols in the NFL. And now he has a year or two to sit behind him and absorb the knowledge. Yeah, no, absolutely, Dangle. It all changed with Wilson and Kaepernick, if you remember correctly. When Wilson and Kaepernick were drafted, they were drafted with the intention of starting immediately, or had to start immediately. I believe it was they had to, and they became lights out good. Now, okay, let's say one of them was not lights out good, but good enough to win games. And then suddenly the narrative was like, well, looks like these rookie quarterbacks can play. And if you notice, after the Kaepernick Wilson year, which was what, 11, 12? Something like that. Then suddenly teams were expecting plug and play rookie quarterbacks. In my head canon, when I started noticing the difference was the Kaepernick Wilson era, when they were rookies and just tearing it up. Suddenly, sitting behind a starter was not a thing. They wanted instant return on their first overall pick. I think the league needs to get back to patience. Let the development of quarterbacks happen. Give them time. I mean, could you imagine if Baker had enough time to get a grasp on the game? Could be a lot better than he is. He's not bad now. Could have been a hell of a lot better, though. If he had time. Real, proper time. I'm all for a quarterback sitting like they did back in the day. Jordan Love sat behind Aaron Rodgers. Jordan Love, everybody was poo-pooing Jordan Love. And then the last half of the season, he started putting it together because he was getting his reps. He was getting his game time. And Jordan Love developed into a pretty solid guy by the end of the season. I believe it's because he had the time to develop. You look at the Trey Lance. Trey Lance was thrown to the fire, got injured, and then wilted. That's a guy that probably should have had more time behind somebody. Yes. Yeah. Everybody but me, KP, because I've been in front of this camera for a year, and I have the receipts of me telling people to be scared of the Lions. It's in my previous videos. If you were to look up the subtitles and Google Lions, you'll see me talking a lot about them. Yeah, Dangle, see, you got it. What up, nerd? How you doing? Derek Carr. Heck, for that matter, David Carr. David, yeah, that's what I was going to say. David Carr was the most sacked quarterback as a rookie in history. It's a fact. David Carr was a phenomenal quarterback, but he was running for his life. He was like Fran Tarkenton. There you go, man. Another year? Is it your birthday? Oh, that's right. You and Lee have birthdays that are like 3 days apart or 2 days apart. And Lee's birthday was Wednesday. Yeah. Somebody buy that man a shot. Um, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting draft. It has already been one of the most interesting off seasons in a very long time. There have been a ton of starting players that are in new teams. It is going to be very interesting. This draft, I think, is going to be one of the more pivotal drafts for the NFC versus the AFC. Absolutely, KP. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um Now I know nobody follows the Bills other than Carlos here and Don as his number 2 team. But I have to say the Bills drafting a wide receiver in the first round is the wrong answer. Now, let me explain. And this is actually coming back around to what I wanted to start talking about this draft about. Everybody's focused on wide receivers, edge rushers, and quarterbacks this year. Everybody's buzzing about the QBs, the WRs, and the edge. There's no point in trading Diggs now. As of last weekend, his contract is fully guaranteed for the year. We missed the window, or we didn't intend on moving him. He posted the cryptic "I'm ready for whatever" because he knew if we were going to trade him, it would have been before Sunday. Now this year's contract is fully guaranteed. To trade him away, the other team would have to accept part of his salary. So Diggs is going to be here. He's always disgruntled. Every year he deletes his account and posts cryptic crap. I don't think he's here at the end of the season. I mean, he wasn't even there at the end of last season. Disappeared. We should not draft a wide receiver in the first round. The elite wide receivers are gone in the first 15 picks. Maybe 20 because it's a deeper class. We should not trade up for a wide receiver. I think we should draft a safety at pick 28. A safety at 28 will be the top safety off the board. There were 3 names I had written down that I just haven't bothered to memorize yet that are absolute banger, top flight safeties. And there are no projected safeties going in the first round because everybody's concentrating on the offensive weapons and edge. We are in a position to grab the best safety in the draft that fits our needs and addressing wide receiver in the second round, which there will still be extremely solid talent. Curtis Samuel's going to be fine if he stays healthy. He is a good swap out for Gabe Davis. Khalil Shakir in the slot is dangerous. He has proven that. Mac Hollins is a good utility player, very reliable hands. I don't think we should burn a first on a wide receiver unless somebody falls. There are a few proven free safeties available, including Blackman from the Colts, who visited Buffalo. The problem is, I don't think we can afford it. Diggs is not going to redo his contract. It's fully guaranteed. He has no incentive to change that. I don't think we can afford Blackmon right now. We only have about $7 million under the cap. I would love to see Blackmon in our defensive 11. I think if he stays on the market for a couple more weeks, he'll take a pay cut to come. Yeah. A lot of veterans take smaller contracts the week before the draft because they know if they can't get on a team is going to draft somebody in their place. So I think our GM, Brendan Bean, as we call him, Big Baller Bean, I think Bean is waiting till right before the draft to prey upon the desperation of some of the vets that are going to be willing to take a cut, especially to be with another challenger. Now, Doug asked me, are the Buffalo Bills better, worse, or the same that they were last year? Right after the season, I said they're absolutely worse. We lost our center. We lost our safeties. We lost our corner. We lost our wide receiver 2. And we lost one of our backup depth guards. We have not addressed the center. We have addressed the safety in signing Rapp to a 3-year deal. We need to address another safety. We re-signed a plethora of people. We got a really good extra linebacker in Morrow from the Eagles. We got a couple of depth guys on the defensive line. We are going to draft an offensive lineman. We are eventually going to draft a wide receiver. We are going to draft a safety. And I would not be surprised if we drafted another corner. We have 11 picks. I have a feeling we're going to be moving up back into the third. We don't have a third. We were supposed to get a third from compensation, but we got robbed of that. And Bean has expressed his dismay. The reason he traded away his third was knowing he would have a third back. So now that we have 2 fourths, I have a feeling both of those will be packaged to move into the third again. I see us moving up a lot in the draft. I don't see us moving down as much. But I digress. All right, everyone. I can talk football literally all day. However, it's already 7:15. I am going to call last call on any items anybody wants to buy. There is no hurry. Take your time. Nope, it's 1915 here, where the cool kids live. I have an order for Germany I have to fulfill. I have 4. This is going to Germany. Trying to buy a box, bear? Trying to buy a box. Bear with me. I got it. I was like, what's a box bear? What's a box bear? I want a box bear. to open this. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we know, Dangle. That's why you have 13 children. Next week is going to be an interesting week. That's all I'm going to say about that. Oh, Scoobs, is your mom coming to visit? That's awesome. I think my mom is coming to visit in July. She was thinking about coming during the summer. I like hanging out with my mom. She's cool. Oh, not your mom. You have a sister? Clean up my desk. Okay. Let's get back to it. Oh, goodness gracious. Here we go. Ooh, dangle. Dangle, dangle, dangle. Dangle, dangle. And Mr. Young, too. Now I have another hole to fill. Well, good for you, Scoobs. That sounds exciting. All right, Dangle. Just, 13-hour day. Hey, Mr. Young, does anybody in this chat know what you do for a living? Excuse me. Dangle, yours came in first. We will. Okay. Mr. Young has a pretty good job. He has a job that a lot of people would like. Dangle has a pretty good job, and one that probably a lot of us would like, but only a fraction of us could do. I'm not discounting what you do, Mr. Young. But Dangles is a bit crazy high. Like, you had to go to special school for that, didn't you, Dangle? Didn't you have like a very specific, or was that an apprenticeship? He does work with giraffes at the zoo, Scoobs. How the hell did you figure that out? I was being cryptic. I'm impressed. Lee is a body painter and Playboy painter. All right, Dangle-lang, Dangle-lang. You have The True Mystery by our friends at Super Break. 3 mystery items that we don't know what they are. Let's find out. Ooh. Stellar. Man, I hope you get the Swift autograph. That would be cool. It's this guy out of 50. This guy out of 50. This guy out of 25. And Drew Hanlon out of 50. No idea. You've got a mini vanilla. And that's Tristan Jass. 1 of 1. Jass. And then you got a long one. Huh. Who would have thought Dangle had a long one? I guess Mrs. Dangle. I swear to God, a 1 of 1, the answer, Allen Iverson, is the only item in this long. Allen Iverson needed a whole long envelope just for himself so that he could write the answer, his nickname, on your card. Hey man, that is worth price of admission. That is a really good pull. Little AI 1 of 1 auto inscribed. KP, huge AI fan. Huge AI fan. And then you got this, which that is empty. That is that. Oh, awesome. It's this guy. And that guy. Well, they all can't be winners. But the AI, now there's a winner. thank God the answer was in there with them. A nice. And that is, by the way, that looks like an on card one. Yeah, it is. It's an on card auto. That is not a sticker. That is an on card auto. It looks like a sticker, but then you realize it's signed off of that center spot and is indeed on card. There you go. Mr. Young. 2023. Pieces of the Past. 7-year series 2. By our dear friends at Super Break. Here we go. Good luck, man. We are overdue for cut sigs. Rene Magritte. Famous painter, surrealist, lots of fun. Raphael. In all, good painter. That is Ludwig van Beethoven. You know Beethoven. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. You know Mozart. Rock me, Amadeus. Hey, look, more Beethoven. I hope you like Beethoven. Millard Fillmore. Oh. All right, this is cool. This is a signed presidential document. That is the date. I imagine it was 18,008 something. I like that one. It's got provenance on the back. There's the git. There's the git. Claude Monet. Handwriting sample. Boy, he wrote like he painted. There you go. I like the last two. The first five, not so much. There we go. Much better. I need to get more top loaders out of the back. There we go. Oh, they stink like a fresh pack of top loaders do. Got that chemically PVC plastic smell. Dangle. I'm sure they tried to milk that presidential document for all they could get. I can't imagine it was very cheap. My water is gone and I don't feel like opening another. Whatever. All right, who's streaming? Is this? Hold on. There we go. All right, I teased this yesterday. And since none of our colleagues are currently streaming, I am going to deliver you to Midnight Sumo, where the day 13 of the Grand Sumo tournament in Osaka, Japan has just started. Now, this is going to be the undercard, so to speak. It's 9 hours long, and we are in the first hour. So these are going to be the guys that are in the lower tiers, working their way up the Rikishi ranks, trying to get to Yokozuna. The Yokozuna is not, Terunofuji is not wrestling this tournament. He wrestled last one. There are spectacular Takano Fuji is on a tear. He is 11-1 on the tournament. There are quite a few really amazing fighters that are slated for today. I can't. I have tattoos, Scuba. Tattoos eliminate you from sumo. You cannot be a traditional sumo wrestler with any tattoos due to the Yakuza. I could do it here in America, but I could never go and do it officially in Japan. About like 8% of my body is covered in tattoo. That would be very expensive and painful. So I am going to, and when I take you to Midnight Sumo, I'm actually going to be staying and watching because I am a sumo fan. Koto Nowaka is one of my current favorites. He is having a pretty good run. I believe he is 9-3 right now. He is a young Rikishi. I got to see him make his newest title, Ozeki. I got to see him actually wrestle and make his Ozeki title in the last tournament where he was fabulous, finishing second to the Yokozuna. I did now. I got it now, man. There's actually an American that was the Yokozuna. Carlos. There was an American Yokozuna. Unfortunately, he is kind of poo-pooed upon now because of his later life dealings. But when he was one of the most dominant when he was in respectable order. He is not very well respected anymore. He had some late career things that did not show favorably on him as a person. I gotta remember his name real quick. By the way, this is Koto Nowaka. This guy is absolutely wonderful. He is a joy to watch. He is very respectful when he fights. I am a big Koto Nowaka fan. His name was Chad Rowan, but he fought under the moniker Akebono. That's it. That's it. Akebono. That's Akebono. He had a fall from grace, though. He was 6'8", 500 pounds. Dangle! 2023 Pieces of the Past 7-Year Collection, Series 2. Same here, man. I would fight Tyson for probably a mere 5 figures. I'm a cheap. Yeah, you can knock me out for cheap. There is a Civil War letter home. Nice start. I like it. Starting out with a Civil War letter. I dig that. Gonna follow it up with a Georgia O'Keeffe. Gonna follow Georgia up with some Abraham Lincoln. Oh, it's a good one. A 4-cent stamp. Those who deny freedom to others deserve it not for themselves. Two of 3. Nice Abraham. So 2 out of 3 nice ones already. Then we got some Ben Franklin. boy, it's describing dead people. Okay. All right, all right, all right. Ooh. Jenny Lind, famous for the crib. Yes, the Jenny Lind crib was named after this singer. Unlike the movie The Greatest Showman, she indeed did not have a relationship with P.T. Barnum. As a matter of fact, her husband was her manager and traveled everywhere with her. That bit of that movie was made up just for S's and giggles and to let people know that movies will do anything they want regardless of history. Raphael. And finally, oh, nice, Andy Carnegie. What up, Andy? I could see Michael Douglas as Franklin. Hey, maybe it's from the piece of paper that's in his hand. You never know. Yes, and so was I think his son, Dale, has the public speaking course. There you go, Dango. So sumo is tiered. Think of it kind of like college sports. You have division, uh, you know, 1A, you have uh, division, all those different letters, um, 3D. You have the different tiers of colleges. Uh, Sumo is the same way. There are different tiers that you compete at, and you have to get promoted to those places. And right now, the undercards are very good fighters that have winning records in the tournament. Are trying to work their way to the next competition level, and with the next level comes obviously more fame and eventually more fortune. If anyone has 3 of 3 Civil War piece you are interested, I'll have to look at my collection. Yeah, Dangle. Maybe they baited us. I don't know. Who knows? But I agree. There used to be some absolutely insane ones. Hmm. I'm waiting for Dangle to stop me again. Otherwise, I'm gonna hit the enter button. I know. I know, Scoobs. It's just Scoob. It's so odd that of all the things they would steal, that was one of the things they knew to steal. It makes it feel like it was an inside job, Scoobs. All right, everybody. We are going to look at the ancient art of sumo. Oh, I got it, Scoops. That makes sense. Um, it is a wonderful sport with plenty of nuance. It is way more than two large guys slamming into each other. There is a ton of really interesting moves that are being done here, and it can be over in a second or it can take minutes. It is one of my new passions. I love it. I'm learning it as we go. I highly recommend just taking 5 minutes and watching. It is an experience. I love each and every one of you. Please take care of yourselves and each other so that we can do this again tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a bit of fun, and next week is going to be a straight up blast. Be safe, take care. I love you. Good night.